Everyone, my name is Donnie Lowy from Closeoutexplosion.com. The next time you are in New York, you are welcome to visit my warehouse. I have a wholesale business here, and I sell dresses, suits, shoes, fashion jewelry, and other items. So I want to share with you my experience of buying and selling pallets of store return shoes. Currently, I am not selling store return shoes, but in the past, that was one of the items that I sold. And I want to share with you my experiences, give you some feedback, and hopefully you can use my experiences and feedback to make the best possible decisions for your business. So first of all, store return shoes are basically shoes that were purchased by the customer and they were brought back to the store. Now, there are two types of returns you should be focused on. There are store returns where they're actually brought back to the store, and there are online returns where they're sent back to the website. Now, I have only personally bought shoes that were returns from the store, but I've spoken to people who bought shoes that were returned to websites, and I can share with you what they have told me. As far as the website, since I personally don't have experience buying store return shoes from websites, I can just share with you that people have told me that generally they are in better condition, those shoes, and the reason they say that they're in better condition is because people will order them from the website, look at the shoe, realize it's not the right color, not the right style, it doesn't fit just right, and they'll send it back right away. But in other words, because they don't have the opportunity to try it on, so there are more, I would say, more legitimate reasons why they're returning it. But when people buy shoes at stores, the stores have a policy generally to completely please the customer, and they will even allow a shoe to be returned weeks or even months after the shoe was purchased. I have seen shoes that came in store return pallets where the sole was really worn out, where you could see that someone had worn that shoe for 6 months, maybe even a year. So you do have to be aware that when you get store return pallets with shoes, or shoes store return pallets, those shoes can be very damaged. Now, on the other hand, there is one overriding benefit of buying those pallets, because the shoes that people actually decided to buy in the store are generally better brands, the styles are nicer than the shoes that are simply overstocked. And now I'll explain to you why. Let's say you go to your favorite department store. Let's say you walk into Macy's, you walk into JCPenney's, you walk into Sears. Now you see a really nice selection of shoes. You're going to buy the shoe that you like. And now multiply that times 1,000 customers, times 10,000 customers. People are going to generally buy the shoes that they like, right? That they want to wear. Unless they just need the shoe because they're, it's for, I don't know, special occasion, or it's an emergency. They need a quick pair of shoes, and they're flexible on the style or the brand. But generally speaking, people are only going to buy the shoes that they really like. So when someone buys a pair of shoes, you already know that that shoe is going to be nicer, or it's going to be more exciting than simply a shoe that was left at the store that no one bought it. Now, there are legitimate reasons why there could be a beautiful shoe that's sold as overstock, and that is because the department store simply bought too many of those shoes, and the shoes are beautiful. A lot of people like those shoes, but the department store had so many of them that they had to sell them as part of overstock pallets. So overstock pallets of shoes can be beautiful, they can have really good brands, but generally speaking, from my experience, the store return pallets have nicer shoes and I would say better brands, better styles than the overstock pallets. But the challenge is that those shoes can be very damaged. Now, this is again just my personal experience in buying and selling store return shoes. When you get store return shoes, you're going to have, I would say, about 20% of the shoes which are just going to be, damaged. Now, from that 20%, you might be able to take those shoes to shoemaker and have them repaired, but then of course you're going to have to pay additional money to have those shoes fixed. So if your cost per pair was, let's say, $15 a pair, and the shoemaker is going to charge you $10 a pair, so your actual cost now is going to be $25. Provided that you can sell that shoe for more than $25 and cover your costs and still have a profit, then okay, then it's a good idea. But if the most you could sell those shoes for is for $20 or $25, then you're not going to be able to do it. So therefore, your actual cost for the rest of the shoes is now 20% higher, because there's 20% of the shoes that you just simply are not going to be able to sell in the condition that they are. Now, even though I'm saying that 20% of the shoes are damaged, keep in mind that you can receive a pallet where everything is damaged, or you might get lucky and receive a pallet where hardly anything is damaged. But I would caution you that there always is going to be a reason why people are returning the shoes. They might be returning the shoes they don't like the style, maybe they changed their mind about the color. Maybe they felt that they paid too much for the shoes, and now they went back to JCPenney's and returned that pair of shoes. Or maybe they saw that Sears is having a sale, and if they bring back the pair of shoes, they'll get the shoes later, at a better price. So I mean, there are many reasons, why people can bring back shoes, but people can also bring back a pair of shoes because the shoe was damaged. Maybe they bought it, they didn't realize it was damaged already. Someone, many people tried it at the store, which, because so many people tried it on, the shoe got damaged. The customer bought that pair of shoes, didn't realize it was damaged, brought it back to the store, or they might have bought the shoes, they might have, unintentionally, hopefully unintentionally, damaged that pair of shoes, and now they brought back the pair of shoes, or they simply used the shoes, and they're like, hey, let me bring it, get my money back, and the store has a policy of keeping the customers because they want the lifetime value of the customers, and they'll accept those shoes. So you have to be aware of that. Now, at the same time, so from my experience, as I said, right, that 20% of the shoes can be very damaged. You can have other shoes which are technically damaged, but it's so hard to see what's wrong with them. Maybe the customer bought them, they wore them for a week, changed their mind, brought it back, so the sole looks slightly worn. Maybe there's a crease in the leather. Maybe there is a small tear somewhere in the sole, but it's something that's not noticeable. So that might be a pair of shoes that you can sell for close to the full retail price, not for the full retail price, because you have to give customers a discount, because after all, the shoes are not in brand new condition, but you're not going to have to give them as much of a discount as if the shoe is heavily damaged, right? Because sometimes you can also sell, this is something you should keep in mind, you can sell the shoes that are damaged to customers who are willing to go ahead and repair the shoes. Either they know how to repair the shoes themselves, or it's worth it for them to go to a shoemaker to get the pair of shoes repaired. And I'll give you an example. When I used to get department store pallets of store return shoes, I used to get a lot of Tory Burch shoes. The Tory Burch shoes, were really popular. It was a really exciting brand. People liked the shoes. I don't know exactly how much, I don't remember exactly how much they sell for in the department store, but it might have been easily over $200 a pair. And I was selling those shoes anywhere in my warehouse, anywhere from $15 to $25 a pair. And people bought them. They loved it. Some of the shoes were in brand new condition. Some of the shoes were damaged, but people still bought them. Why? Because if they got a $200 pair of shoes for, let's say, $20 and went to the shoemaker and had to pay another $15 to repair those shoes, and to bring the shoes to a brand new condition, or it should look like it's in a brand new condition, so the customer now has spent $35 on that pair of shoes, but it's a pair of shoes that otherwise would cost them $200 in the department store. So you might decide to buy store return shoes knowing that you'll sell those shoes to your customers, provided that it's a really good brand, right? Provided that there's a good enough reason why the customer will be willing to spend more money in getting those shoes repaired. So you could sell those shoes to your customers as is and still possibly make money. All right, hope you enjoyed this video. My website is closeoutexplosion.com. The next time you are in New York, please visit my warehouse. Thank you so much. Have a great day.